Well, folks, we're back in part 2 of today's show. I've just got one more thing I want to rant about, and then I'm going to turn this over to Dwayne because he's got some stuff, and then we'll come back and I've got some more stuff. I got stuff coming out my eyes here. Something is happening, Dwayne.
What is that?
That could conceivably have a big impact on our government. And that is the no label movement. A third party without a label.
I think you're right.
They have observed, now this is a poll that came out this morning, Quinnipiac. 70% of voters polled are quite unhappy with the coming coming, C-O-M-M-I-N-G, I spell well, election for Biden facing Trump for president. No third-party candidate has ever succeeded in winning the presidency, but a couple of them have muddied the water. Teddy Roosevelt with the Bull Moose Party and Ross Perot messing up George H.W.'s second term. If this succeeds, they did a follow-up poll asking the people. 47% approve of the third party.
That's right.
47% oppose it.
That's right.
Now, the talking heads said the Democrats are scared to death of it. The core loyalty to President Trump is more intense and more loyal than the loyalty to Biden.
Well,
and
that's
Kamala
true.
Harris.
That's true,
Yeah.
because a lot of Biden's votes were anti-Trump votes. They were not pro-Biden.
That's right. Exactly. And Kamala Harris has muddied the waters
Well,
too.
she just says
with being
non-existent.
the most ineffectual vice president.
She's just she's a non-entity in this thing.
Absolutely. So they're saying if it breaks 47-47, this is going to be a big advantage for the Republicans.
Very few people. And I'm not a big thing in polls. We've seen polls go flip-flop, turn around. He's a shoo-in and gets beat. But very few people want to see a Trump-Biden ticket.
That's right.
Very, very few. A few diehard Trumpers and a few hangers-on with Biden. But other than that, most of the country says enough is enough with those two.
I think Biden hurt himself tremendously when he talked to Netanyahu.
Well, he didn't help himself. That's for sure.
He looked like he was going to sleep. I mean, and Netanyahu was looking at him like, oh, what the hell's going on? Now, interesting, Joe Manchin from West Virginia. Now, Joe Manchin
I saw him on Fox one night.
I'm sorry?
He was on Fox talking, and we had somebody with him, and I cannot remember who it was, but he made a lot of sense.
Well, he makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And he's should be in the Republican Party, but he's in West Virginia was a strong Democratic state, and instead it's flopped. Now it is totally Republican. Well, Manchin still won down there. But they're saying now the governor, who's more popular than Manchin, is going to run against Manchin. Manchin may not be reelected out of West Virginia. The Republicans are kind of counting on winning that seat. So Manchin was asked the other day if he would consider being the third party candidate in this no label deal. And I tell you what, he said everything except yes.
Yeah, that's very much what I saw
He
too.
hedged on that, but it was a very positive, like, that may just fit me perfectly.
And you know what else I heard? I believe also it was a Fox interview. Well, it might have been both of them. And I never really gave him a hell of a lot of look before and listened to him, but that was Christie.
Yeah, Christie.
Christie sat down and he laid out some stuff that really made a lot of sense. And he's not afraid of Trump. He's one of the 3 or 4 that are not trembling in his presence. And I don't know if we can get over our trivialness or whatever we do in this country. He's round.
Yeah.
Like me, he's fat.
Yeah.
Well, fatter than we think a candidate should be. And unfortunately, our country is that that's still a problem with voters.
It is. The first snapshot goes a long way toward forming our opinions.
Regardless how smart he is.
Yeah. He is, and he did a hell of a good job as governor in New Jersey. He was a tough guy right out of the Trump school. No messing around.
Yeah.
Call it like it is, and if you don't like it, well, the hell with you.
I could vote for him.
I could vote for him.
There's several of them that I could vote for. I cannot, I'll say it right now, I cannot put my signature or check mark on a Biden or a Trump. I cannot do it. I owe the country that much.
Yeah.
One's going to put it into ruination by stupidity, and the other one by crookedness.
Yeah. I can vote for Trump, but I do it with a lot of misgivings.
He's dangerous. He's just flat out, for me, he's dangerous. He's dangerous.
Somehow or other, we survived the first 4 years.
Yeah, we did. But I think now when he's talking about avenge, when I get elected, there's going to be lookout, because I'm going to come full of revenge. I'm going to make people that were not loyal to me are going to pay for it.
He is stuck, if you will. The needle is stuck on his record with draining the swamp. Man, the professional politicians that have been down there for 30 years, he hates, and they hate him.
I don't think he's psychologically stable. He's got such a temper.
And yet, he can walk out of the White House to the helicopter, and the reporters are lined up.
That's right.
And he can be positively charming. And intelligent, and decisive, and funny, all the way down.
Well, and then,
like I wish this guy was my next door neighbor.
And then turn right around and
kerboom. He says and does.
That's why I said he's not psychologically stable. That's the problem.
I tell you what, the last few months he has really calmed down, which I think his handlers have got to be filling him with tranks every day, because he is in presidential election mode.
Well,
but you're right. It's like a sheep in lamb. What is that? A lamb in sheep's clothing, or something.
A wolf in sheep's clothing.
A wolf in sheep's clothing. But it's going to be an unbelievable period from now till November.
It is.
Unbelievable. No, next November. Not this November. What do you got, partner, that you got to kick off with?
I think we tried to start with spams last time. Now, we all know about the spams that are out there. We've talked about the Grandpa, I'm hurt, send money. That's been expanded. Now we got AI coming
Yep.
into the picture.
Yes, we do.
Now they can take your voice with AI and chatbot and all that. I don't understand the technical part of it, but they can make your voice do anything it wants.
Yeah.
And it's your voice. It's got the same digital vibration and the way you hear it. They got a situation here, I read in one of the magazines, that this grandparent got a thing, the granddaughter has been captured and tortured. And she's screaming and yelling in the back, Grandma, help me, or Grandma, help me. They're doing this to me, doing that to me. She wasn't there. Of course, the grandparent panicked.
Yeah, of course. Well, as they would.
Yeah. It wasn't just the fact that it's somebody, I've been arrested. This is, they were really, you want to see her alive again, you're going to do this. And they put her on the phone. And they had it all scripted out, you know. It's really, really scary. You really got to be careful.
Well, you're absolutely right.
Now, if you get a situation like that, and you got to really suspect that there's something going on, get a hold of the authorities immediately. And the second thing to do is to call somebody that knows your granddaughter, your grandson, or your son, like their parents or their siblings, and say, "Where's Jeannie? Oh, she's sitting right here."
Yeah.
Because that'll kill it right there.
Yeah.
And never send them money or gift cards or cryptocurrency or anything like that.
Yep.
Because you know that it's just a flat scam. But there's 2 points on this thing. It happened to me. Well, we're going to get to that. I want to know about this. Here, I will start with text scams. Now, I'm not a technical person.
Right.
And I'm on my little iPad, and actually what I'm looking at, now it wasn't porn, it was a thing on, I don't know, BuzzFeed, or somebody has these interesting little, why your cat behaves the way it does. Why does your cat follow you from one room to the other? Why does it jump in a box? Why does it snuggle up to you? And I thought, hey, that's interesting. We've had cats, you know. So
Why does it knock things off the
yeah,
table?
it knocked things off the table and look at you like saying, hey, look what I did. Well, anyway, I'm going through about the third one. My screen goes, boop. And it says, your Apple fraud detection, whatever it was, has detected something. And everything froze right there. It just stopped. In big blue letters, it said all this kind of stuff. What was going to... There's an attempt to put malware into your system. And I'm looking at it. Holy cow. And it looks so official from Apple.
The tip-off, however, was call this number immediately.
No, it wasn't a number. It was go to this website.
Oh, okay. All right.
Same thing.
Same difference.
And
Well, if they froze your machine, though, how could you go to that website?
well, you could, if you touched that blue one, it would
Okay.
go. Well, they didn't actually freeze. It just stopped. So I'm thinking, oh my God. I said, this thing. I said, no, it's 50-50. What is? Then I read down the bottom. They said, what really got me suspicious was, we have an Apple engineer standing by that will take you step by step how to get out of this situation. I thought, no. There is no damn Apple engineer on the other end waiting for people to contact them. That's just not feasible. Then it says, warning, do not close this page. If you close this page, the malware will automatically be installed.
And it will own your computer.
Exactly. So I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. If it can automatically install, why the hell are we going through all this rigmarole? Why didn't you just put it the next thing on the cat page, or the next thing on the cat page? Why didn't you just slip it in there? Because I had to close that anyway, and we achieved the same thing. So I said no, and I just closed the damn thing. It was nothing. It was nothing about. And I talked to my son. He says no. He says they're just. They send them out. They send them out by the millions.
I don't have Apple, but I get Microsoft. I get the same thing. We have Microsoft engineers ready, standing by.
Standing
to help
by.
you.
That's what they got.
Call this number 1-800 da 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 da. All right, and but the first thing they ask you is your name. Then all kinds of personal information. It goes to, and Patrick yelled at me, don't ever do that.
Yeah.
Just bang out of that. And he said the same thing, by the way, Dad, with your arguing with telemarketers.
That's another thing they got.
He said
Don't do
they
it.
are mining information. The more you talk, if they can get one little piece of information, it goes into the Bill Crane soup. And when they get enough information, they get all kinds of stuff they can do.
AI has made it so easy for them to manipulate stuff.
We're opening a door, and we don't know what the hell is behind it with this AI.
60% of tech scams involve malware.
Yep.
And
that's destructive.
Yeah, they get into your shopping, your finance, your social media, and your ID theft. It says don't open it. Call the company involved. Not on their number though that they told you. If they said, Kohl's or Kmart or Walmart or the bank or something, take it off your credit card, their number, or don't take, or off a statement. Don't take the number that they gave you, because that's going to go right back into them.
Now, Susie's got an Apple iPad. She never gets this stuff.
No, Apple's supposedly got a built-in
all kinds of
security stuff against
walls.
That. Yeah. It says, but don't worry, if you did open it, chances are they're not going to malware. Just get out. But the problem with that is, once you opened it but didn't follow their instructions to press this and do that, like somebody told me, if you would have followed that Apple engineer's instruction, you'd have set your computer up so they can, anytime they want,
they can just come waltzing in
and see what you're doing. You're ordering something from Amazon. Well, they'll just copy your credit card.
Yeah.
You want this? They'll just copy this, because you'd actually programmed that program for them by doing what they told you to do to get rid of it. But he said if you open it, the problem with that is that you've given that this is a live number.
That's right.
And you're going to get bombed.
And you're a live person.
They said at that time you got to start changing your address and all that kind of stuff.
Names and all that stuff.
Now, fortunately and unfortunately, the biggest loss is, and I thought it would be older seniors. It's not. It's people in their 40s. But there's a reason for it. They got more money. They're employed. They're busy with other stuff. They don't think about stuff. They just go ahead and do it. I'm so busy, I can't. And there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the biggest number of people that get caught are 60 plus. They just get caught for a lot less money.
My father-in-law, when my mother-in-law passed away, he was left alone. And Al would actually talk to these mass marketers
Oh yeah, yeah.
out of just complete boredom.
Boredom.
Yeah.
Some of these guys will do anything.
Yeah, and that's a bad deal.
The the scam calls, or not the scam, the spam calls are going down. They're going less and less. As they finally got through to block two major spammers. But these guys, they buy time and they do stuff. They're almost always offshore. And they shut down two of them now. But there's 4 or 5 major ones out there yet that they can't shut down. But you should not be too quick with these QR codes. You got to be very careful with them now. And those are them funny looking little things that you're supposed to take your phone and make a picture of it, and it automatically.
Okay. All right.
You see them everywhere,
Yep.
one of these little dots and
Yeah.
these little circles. What they're doing is the scammers are putting their own QR codes out there.
Of course.
So when you click it, you're clicking right into their scam.
Yeah.
Right into your computer, just opened right up into
Bingo,
that.
bango.
Bingo. Never, never scan a QR code that looks like it's had been put on with a sticker, because somebody probably come along with a malware one and put it over the regular one, and they said, for whatever you do, and it's been in the West Coast, I guess I haven't seen that, but ATM machines now got these QR codes. So instead of going up and putting your code number and everything, you just take your phone and you just boop. Of course, convenient.
Sure.
Well, it didn't take the scammers long to start driving around all the ATM machines and putting their own QR code on it. So you were giving them your password, you were giving them your account number, everything else. They said, if there's a QR code thing, at least take your finger and feel over the top. Is it embedded? Was it printed into the machine? Or does it feel like it might have been a sticker put on there? If it's a sticker on there, don't touch it.
Since I don't have a cell phone or any of that stuff, I will never do that stuff.
I don't use QR codes either. I don't know how to use it to start with. And you can block a lot of stuff, but you gotta make a conscious effort. You gotta call, you gotta text, you gotta set up blockings. Another thing they've said is don't get crazy with Facebook and things like that. What you think is innocent information that you're putting out there, because everybody wants to know, is a scammer's bouquet or scammer's buffet.
Yeah.
Your birthday, your kid's birthday, when you're going on vacation, where you go, what you like. All this stuff accumulates.
When will your house be empty?
Yeah. Never go on Facebook and say we're going on vacation next Monday.
And yet, there are people that spend their entire lives on Facebook.
Facebook, that's right.
And they talk about the most personal stuff you can possibly imagine.
And then they'll complain
Yeah.
that's invasion of privacy, or
Yeah.
this is an invasion of
Yeah.
privacy. Well, my God, you opened your whole life out there. And they said another thing: cut back if you're going to stay on Facebook, cut back on all the peripheral persons that you've got out there, because you're getting friends of friends of friends, and you don't know once they're removed who these people even are.
Yeah.
So
something that should be a fun community of people that enjoy similar things turns into a monster.
somebody's always out there to take advantage of
Yeah.
you. Now, you think, well, I'm too smart to be scammed.
I don't say that.
Well, a lot of people do. This article you gave me from Wall Street Journal, it's all about smart people being scammed big time. We've all heard of Bernie,
Oh yeah.
Mr. Madoff rather.
Yep. Bernie Madoff.
People that were supposedly very bright, very brilliant, very wealthy, very successful, fell for the damnedest schemes and just fell for it. He offered great returns on investments, returns that were unheard of,
Yeah.
and people threw money at him. Of course, he was proving these returns in the beginning by selling investments to somebody else and then give the profit to the first person. Of course, that set up a track record. And after that, he was off to the races. But they say, don't assume that you're smarter, that this is wrong.
That's right.
And things are not always what they seem. Be a doubting Thomas. Be a skeptic. That's one of the biggest things that he said. Then this other article said that seniors tend to trust people more than the younger people do. Well, they wouldn't cheat me. Yes, they would. Even companies that look like they're legitimate, and they are, they're still cheating you sometimes. They're not being honest. A good case in point, you see this ad all the time for this company that makes this rubberized rubber that you spray in a can. The
Phil Swift.
The guy is obnoxious as hell.
I'd like to shoot him.
Well, I don't know whoever told him to do his own commercials, but they ought to be fired.
He's got to be the most repulsive.
He
man.
is. He's disgusting. You don't trust him.
I keep hoping that boat that he built sinks.
Yeah, or that house washes away.
Yeah.
But they're not totally honest with you. If you start looking up how they do things, for example, that put one drop on that thing and then they put another thing on, and it lists 3 tons, I guess it is, and it can. Maybe 1 out of 100 times they'll get it. But what they don't tell you, that those two surfaces, that those two things are hooked together, are absolute level. Now that you say, well, this table's level. No, I mean, we're talking scientifically level, where the atoms or the molecules actually line up. So one drop would actually seal these things together. You can't achieve that kind of surface except in a lab, where you got to have these things. Starrett used to make on measuring tools. Well, you guys had them in your manufacturing. They were absolutely flat level, and the piece was completely scientifically flat. That's what these are, and you can't achieve that. If you put that thing with 2 pieces of what you think is flat, then it ain't going to work.
That's right.
But they don't tell you that. But you can find that out research it on the internet. So that's that's kind of a scam.
Do you know, my brother-in-law worked out in California for a Chrysler dealer, Chrysler Plymouth Dodge dealer.
Yep.
And he was kind of like jack of all trades. Do you remember the ad for the Dodge pickup trucks where they dropped it down and it kind of...
Yep.
Footsy told me that he was in charge of that. He went to work for that ad agency while he was working for Chrysler. He was assigned to them.
Yeah.
And he would get the trucks set up. They'd take the engines out of them.
Oh, yeah.
And then weld everything they could find together. They dropped like 16 or 17 of them that broke in half before one of them
would stand together. Yeah.
And that's the one that was in the air.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And he says, well, he said, we were killing them trucks. He says, then they just go to the junk heap.
They also, one I saw was that you watch an Acura auto ads.
Yep.
They never drive them straight. They're always revved out about 9,000 RPM, sliding someplace and sliding there. The testers said that they must go through hundreds of tires because what they're doing would blow those tires just bang. But they don't show you that.
No. Oh.
You really, these things, you just got to be really, really careful. And don't trust anything that you come up that looks legitimate. Because they show here Kohl's advising on something. It's got Kohl's logo, it's got Kohl's this. They look exactly right. I got one day from, what's that? Geek Squad.
Okay.
Shortly after I bought a TV from Best Buy, and I know Geek Squad is owned by Best Buy. And there's something about a renewal for $250 was charged to my credit card for a contract and stuff. And I called Best Buy. They said, we didn't do nothing. So I called Geek Squad. They gave me the number. They're out of California. And they said, we got nothing to you. They said, it's probably a scam. It was, but it looked so. It had the thing where I purchased this TV from Best Buy, and Best Buy contacted them, and I had somehow signed a contract for, and then all I had to do was press yes, and it was, they would put me in the system. It was just an out and out fraud.
They beware of the guys that call you up too, and well, how's everything going today, Mr.
Yeah.
Weiss? How is the weather back there? You enjoying yourself today? And what he wants is yes.
Yeah.
He wants you to say yes.
Yep.
And once that he gets yes, then he goes to what it is he's trying to sell.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and he sets you up. And when you say no, they blurb the no out, put the yes in,
that's right.
and you've bought something.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now you don't have to say yes. You just give them a couple of words, and artificial intelligence takes that, analyzes that speech pattern of yours. Then they program any words they want. Yeah. And they program it by word anticipation is one of them. For example, if you said 1, 2, 3, 4, the next word would be 5. So the computer says, well, the logic to the next is 5, so we'll put a 5 in here. Then they get all these different words, and then they put them all together. And they can have you saying something that you never said.
Yeah.
And all they need was one word to get that vibration pattern.
As I say, we're opening a door that we have no idea where
it's going to go. That's right. We don't. And you and I don't have to be too concerned about it because we're too old.
Right.
But our grandkids, for example, do. You know, our kids are they're going to be in the cuffs of it.
You know what, Dwayne? One of the things that AI is going to do, it's going to diminish the value of a college education.
Oh, yeah. I mean, positively.
Yeah, because the kids, when they have to do a project now, go boop, 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 and AI pops out with a report, and you know, a lot of the college professors are just going to go, oh, fine, that's fine, that's fine.
You're right. It's gonna hurt authors, artists. But artists, my God, these things can paint masterpieces that experts can't tell.
Yep.
And another thing that they've come across was, don't think you can't be fooled. Like with Bernie Madoff and stuff. Now, I got a situation where when I was repping my companies, one of them was Grobet. And we made a diamond tester. And the first ones out there. Prior to this, to test diamonds was iffy. You know, scratching glass and all that kind of stuff. But then along came this thing called a cubic zirconia.
Yes.
And it was chemically almost a diamond, made in a lab. Well, we got this tester, and it would test based on electrical resistance going through the item. And we took it out, and down, particularly in New York City and the jewelry districts down there, And even in Boston on Washington Street in the jewelry area, we got a lot of resistance. Because these guys, first words out of their mouth, I can tell the difference. I've been a jeweler for 60 years or 40 years. Yeah, ain't nobody gonna fool me. So we went back and we set up a very good zirconia and a poorer zirconia and asked them to do what you do. And they always pick the good zirconia as a real diamond. And we tell them, no, it's not a diamond. Well, it sure the hell is. No, it's not. It's a zirconia. And some of them would get mad.
Yeah.
Because we
You're
challenged them.
screwing with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we weren't.
Yeah. But which brings up another subject for discussion. Would you tell me why someone who's, well, of course, his mind is addled because he's in love, but he goes to the Diamond Institute and asks,
I know where you're going.
how much money should I spend on a diamond ring for
Yeah.
the woman I love? Well, we recommend 4 months pay.
Is it 4 months now?
Or 3 months pay, or whatever.
Well, of course they
To
are.
show the woman you really love her.
That's right.
All you got to worry about is the setting. She's not going to be able to tell whether that stone is a cubic zirconia, and most of the jewelers are not going to be able to tell.
We'll
And
not be able to tell.
who cares?
No one. That's the whole thing.
That's the whole thing. The diamond manufacturers have built this aura
Yep.
around, I'm going to slip this diamond on your ring, sweetheart.
It's got to be worth so much money.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
really, a young couple like that, well, some of them, but not all, there's a bunch of them, should not be spending that kind of money on that kind of an item at that point in their life.
Right. When they are beginning life together.
That's right.
And another thing, too. So, you go to Honest Billy's jewelry store.
I know.
I peddle you this 2-carat ring for $4,000.
You don't know what the hell that is.
Nope. But all you know is that little Muffy is with you, and she says, "This is lovely, Billy." And you, at that point in time, you got 2 choices: either buy it or commit suicide, one or the other.
A jeweler is the one that you will put more trust into
Yep,
with less evidence than just about anything in the world.
that's right. That's exactly right. So, yeah, spring for the $4,000. All right,
Yep.
now let's fast forward a little bit. Muffy finds a new biker in town and hops on the back of his bike and goes to Des Moines, Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
And you're stuck with the ring. So you say to yourself, oh, crap. So you take it to a jewelry store. Yeah, I'll give you $1,200 for it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's
But,
about right.
but I just spent $4,000.
You got the prices just about right too. That's what it is.
You paid bang out retail, you damn fool.
Yeah, and big markups in jewelry.
and it's all smoke and mirrors.
Yeah,
There is no set market price for a 2-carat flawless. I mean, it's what one jeweler puts on it.
yeah.
The only time
you're
it
right.
really gets genuine is when he has to buy it wholesale.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Yeah,
he's got an idea what it's worth, and what it's worth is what he can sell it for doubled.
yeah. You got a set price for. Well, there is a set diamond price, a wholesale price, and even that's manipulated.
Oh, sure it is.
De Beers only lets out so many diamonds a year, regardless if they got 10 tons of them in the back room. No, we're only going to, every jeweler wholesaler gets so many, allocated so many diamonds, so the market always stays tight, and they control the price. Now, you know from Wall Street Journal, there's a real tight commodity in silver and gold and metals.
Can you spell cartel?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly right.
Talk about thieves. Man alive.
We don't, that thing of buying paying for our 3 month salary, or that's just so self-serving
It is.
of the jewelry people.
It is. It's unbelievable.
Yep.
And you know what? Little Cuthbert has got Muffy, and she's got him,
Yep. Oh yeah.
her claws into him, and he doesn't know. All he knows is, we're going to make out tonight, and boy, this is going to be great. And but she's got the claws into him, and if she says, I want that, all reason goes out the window. If guys in this country had an ounce of a brain, they would say, that's it. No more real diamonds.
There's no reason.
All right? There's no reason for it. When you can get cubic zirconia for $150.
You know what a diamond is judged by? A cubic zirconia. You can make a perfect cubic zirconia, a flawless, the color, the clarity of it, and then they use a perfect cubic, because you can make a perfect cubic. And then they take diamonds and they compare that real diamond to the cubic. The cubic is the standard bearer.
Yeah.
That's the one that sets the price.
Yeah. Yeah, so that is
that's the ultimate you can get.
That you're judged by.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you judge the clarity and the color.
Exactly.
And any occlusions that might be in there against perfection. Yeah. Boys, any of you single guys, okay, that are thinking about committing matrimony, by all means, talk to Dwayne and I first. We'll straighten you out, give you the wisdom of the ages.
That's right. You know, our rates are good.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dwayne,
What?
90% of Americans live within 10 miles of a Walmart.
Yeah, I think that's right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the other 10% are out in the rural sticks and all that. Walmart is a very much undervalued stock, I think. I don't think we understand the stranglehold. By the way, another Walmart fact, but you can go on Walmart's website and look at the secret facts. Of every $4 that is spent on groceries in this country, $1 is spent at Walmart's. Yeah, they got 25% of the business.
Yeah, we were the last ones in the country to see Walmart, and then we were the last ones again that they allowed Walmart to bring in food as a grocery store.
Yeah. Yep.
And that was just protecting somebody else.
Yeah, of course it was. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. What else you got?
What do you think of the Nimrod that ran across the border into North Korea this week?
Do you know that trying to interpret people's behavior is probably beyond any skills that I may have? When you see people do stupid things, along comes another that does something stupider.
You just couldn't believe it. I saw. Did you see his picture?
No.
He's young. He's, I don't know, 20, 21. Yeah. He's a nice looking black kid. He looks, just normal kid. But he apparently had been in trouble because he's an E2. He's been in the Army for close to 2 years.
Oh, yes.
I think you get E2 at the end of boot camp or something automatically.
Yeah, E1 is
trainee.
Trainee, and then as soon as you get out of basic training, you get E2.
Well, that's where he is now. So I suspect he had been higher and then got kind of... And he was under arrest for, I don't know, assault and battery of some Koreans. It was a pretty serious charge because they were sending him back to Fort Bliss, I think, for disciplinary and trial. But he got hooked. He somehow jumped out of that group and got into a group of tourists. And then they got up to that goes to see the border. And he decided, well, I'm going to run across the other side.
I mean, somebody would mistake me for a Korean, I'm sure.
Oh, sure they will.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it said that the South Korean and U.S. soldiers chased him when they saw him running for the thing. They couldn't catch him in time. Of course, they couldn't cross the line. And I think he's going to find out that his existence in North Korea is a hell of a lot worse than he would have just faced up to the music here.
Yeah, the music he's going to face over there is going to be most unpleasant. They don't even have enough food to feed their people, for heaven's sakes. They're going to feed him steak and mushrooms and onions every night? Yeah.
And he doesn't have any, he's not a strategically valuable individual. I mean,
no, we're not going to spend a lot of time negotiating for his
Well, I hope not. In Korea,
yeah, but you never know.
You never know.
Yep.
In North Korea, is not going to. He has no assets for North Korea either, other than he's another mouth to feed.
Yeah, he's probably got an IQ of about 36.
Yeah. It's absurd, but you know, stuff like that happens all the time, and you can't think who would do that?
I wonder if drugs enter into this.
That's possible.
A drug-addled mind.
Yeah.
It's very possible.
He
smokes some meth and.
Sees a different scenario there. That's that.
Yeah. But there's got to be something. A sane man wouldn't do that.
No, God no.
Gosh, alive. Dwayne, changing the subject slightly. What are your thoughts on chess?
The game?
Yeah.
I used to play chess a lot.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I did.
Did you find it hard to learn?
No.
Easy to learn?
Yeah.
How long?
20 minutes.
Really?
Easy to learn, impossible to master.
Ah.
The game itself is extremely, it's easy to master it with anything.
I was watching.
I was never all that good. I did.
I was watching a TV program.
I can't get Monica to play.
One of my British mystery stories, and it was about a kid that was a chess master. Now I was just wondering about that, and I thought I'd ask somebody that knew something about chess.
To be a chess master, it's like being a savant. You know, you're kind of born with that kind of a talent.
Yeah.
Because
you never stop learning.
No, it's so complex. That's why I can't get Monica. I taught her to play. She said, I can't play that. It gives me a headache. There's too much stuff to watch. And it is. It's just, it goes on and on and on. It's 10.
Okay.
It's played on a checkerboard, but that's where that's where it ends. Yeah. And it's an old game of
I
guess battles.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you're playing with somebody casually, it's a fun game.
Yeah. I'm gonna try it.
I'll show you how to play. It's easy. There's just some basic. There's each piece moves different. There's some basic rules. That's all. But the strategies and stuff. Oh my God! These things go on to, like IBM's Big Blue, and they feed these things into computers and all this kind of stuff. Well, if I get playing with a good player, I last 10 minutes.
That's a bowl game, huh?
There's a couple. I know one set play. Of course, everybody else knows it too that plays it. But I thought that was a big deal when somebody showed me that, and that's brilliant. Yeah,
I'll trick them.
Well, it's so easy. It's so easy to be. Now the thing with chess was I used to play with Monica, one of her brothers. He's the one that, I tell you, tutored the Chinese, his wife, and he liked to play, but he is the kind of individual, he doesn't do anything without analyzing it. he says, if he buys something, he knows everything about it. He knows what it comes, where it's going to go. He's just so deliberate. Well,
15 minutes to make a move.
Playing with him was tedious, and he'd settle. But I found out that you could rattle him easy. I'd make a move. I'd move my bishop up here, and then right away it was, why did you do that? What are you after? What's going on? I wasn't after anything. I was just playing with him, screwing with him.
Yeah.
And it just
a little
destroyed
diversionary tactic.
It just destroyed his game.
There was a story, a blurb on TV, about transgenders playing female sports. And there was a throwaway line. Well, I said to myself, wait a minute, I never heard anything about this. So I went on the internet. I found out the U.S. female soccer team, for the Olympics, was defeated 5-2 by a team of under 15-year-old boys. That means they were 14 years old or younger. And the bottom line was, from a couple of the female soccer, is we can't compete with men.
Can't. There are certain sports that can't.
What is the rationale behind allowing these men to parade as females in female sports?
We are so afraid
of offending a gender?
Offending anybody.
Yeah.
That we just accept it.
We're not afraid of it.
No, we're not afraid. We piss off everybody, so it doesn't matter. But they're just afraid of saying no.
I think it's because that old saying, the duck that quacks loudest gets shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the town of Brookline this past week or so has dropped advanced history and a couple other advanced courses because there wasn't enough minorities in it.
Yeah.
So if we don't have so many blacks and Hispanics in this class, we dropped it so they wouldn't feel offended because there wasn't enough.
So
that didn't make any sense. It was you're destroying the whole program.
Yeah, which is of educating. Mm-hmm. So those are the people you should pick up and put in the U.S. history class so they learn about.
Well, this was advanced AP classes.
Yeah,
but for the smarter, advanced kids. But it's absurd. I mean, you're just dumbing that old thing, dummying down.
Dummying down.
To the lowest common denominator.
I have one other quote I really like. This is going to be far-fetched.
No.
Lieutenant Tragg, in the Perry Mason mystery novel, The Case of the Moth-Eaten Mink, written by Earl Stanley Gardner, on page 60, has this very perceptive insight. This is Lieutenant Tragg. The more you know about guns, the more you realize that it isn't the gun that's dangerous. It's the man behind it. A wise old bird, Lieutenant Tragg. By the way, folks, just to add to my luster, I have every Perry Mason book that Earl Stanley Gardner wrote.
That's a lot.
Yeah, 80 something.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and I've read them all. But anyway, what Tragg knew 40 years ago maybe people are starting to understand in this country, because there is some debate going on that we are attacking the gun problem the wrong way. You can't restrict the gun. The gun is not the problem. It's the person with the gun. And that is, you've got to look, that's who you've got to take care of, is the person that has the gun. And by taking care of, I mean prison for illegal possession or use of a gun in a crime, rather than released on personal recognizance.
Well, I agree with that part, but we'll probably do this another time because it's going to get long. When it comes to constitutional issues on weapons, maintaining a gun and stuff, there was no way that the framers of the Constitution could ever conceive an AR-15.
Absolutely right. I agree with you.
They could not.
Totally.
They had no concept. They had a black powder ball musket and solid shot cannon. That's what they were working.
Of course. Yeah.
It's no different today that we write a constitution, and we include all our present day weapons, and 200 years from now, they don't know how to use them. They got death rays that they can,
that's it.
stuff, and they wipe a whole city out. Well, we can't conceive of that. So we're going to have to relook at that constitutional thing about right to bear arms. And what is arms? I mean, is it the musket? That's what they meant.
Yeah. But of course, we could say, well, look, modern day arms are just the modernization of the musket. It does the same thing the musket does.
But it's so much deadlier.
Oh, yeah. Well, it is, yeah. But cars are deadlier now than they used to be, too, It's a shifting sea of sand. But the point, though, is that we have got our necks in a knot over is, well, aren't we impinging on people's rights when we say, well, the kid didn't know what he was doing when he used that gun to hold up the store. He's only 16 years old.
That we have to address.
Yeah.
Simply I don't mean you and I.
Yeah.
I mean the country's got.
The other thought that I had too about 300 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Do you realize that some of the climate data we are using to make some of the decisions we're making are extrapolations of climate data, and we are looking 300 years out where it will be.
Yeah, because
we don't have any more idea where it's going to be in 300 years than
we don't.
The man in the moon
That's why we look
knows.
back to see what happened 300 years ago today to extrapolate for 300 years forward.
Exactly. Isn't it interesting? The same idea. Guns in 1723, fast forward 300 years, are different now than they were
of course
back then.
They're not the same animal.
No, they're not. And if we are going to be tethered to rules and regulations from 1723 without upgrading them, we'll get trouble.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
The only thing to say about that, and we'll go on to this, we put pictures of people's lungs on cigarette packs to show how terrible it is. This could never happen, but if it ever did, showing the aftermath of an attack with what they like to call assault, or 223 combat ammunition, saw what the aftermath is. That 6 or 7-year-old kid doesn't have a little hole like you see in the.
No.
That kid's got his arm ripped off, or his head ripped off, or half of his torso is gone. That's the kind of damage those things do. If people actually saw that, they said, "Holy cow!" That we got it. The whole attitude would change. But we only see gun deaths, and I'm just a general, as Hollywood. You know,
There's statistics we read in the paper.
yeah.
Yeah.
Last night we were watching the old Gunsmoke, and Matt shot somebody. Well, there was no hole, no nothing. He just fell over.
We're going to get shot here
Yep.
if we don't wrap this up.
Okay,
Well,
guys.
Folks, we'll give you more nonsense here in 2 weeks.
That's right.
We're just
Oh,
reaching the tip of the iceberg.
World Cup soccer starts Friday.
Oh, no.
They
Really?
yeah, but game's gonna be done. They're playing Vietnam in the first one, but they're a lot of fun to watch. So they were really good. They're going to be good this year. Probably not as good as when they won the championships, the world championships, but they're going to be worth watching.
All right, folks, that's it. Have a great what's left of summer, and we'll be back at you in a couple of weeks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.